What's up? It's Cornelius. I said I was going to do a video over war weight, kind of go through the explanation. A little more technical with this, and it goes into the reasoning why Night Fury is the way it is. I know some guys want to go over Night Fury, but it's kind of explaining why. So whenever you're talking about a war, the way that the war is matched or algorithm, every base in war is assigned a value on weight. It's mostly driven from defense, but there is a lot of input from offense now that the algorithms change. You used to be able to go in, if you were the same town halls level as somebody, for example, you could go in and you could pop the gold storage. It would give you a total value here, like this one's 20,400, and you just multiply that by 5 and it would give you the number. That was the total weight of that base. Those numbers are a little hidden now. Supercell did that a couple years back because they wanted to actually prevent clans from abusing the system as much as it happens. But where war weight comes into play and why it's so important, whenever you move up to the next town hall, and I'm looking at the enemy base here, this town hall 12 here has what we would describe as max defense for, or near max defense for a town hall 11. So why is that important? Well, typically when people upgrade, for the most part, a lot of people tend to upgrade pretty balanced. So when you pull a base like this, if you're going to drop a level 2 Eagle and have, I believe level 5 Infernos, maybe the max at 11, if you do that, what's going to happen is typically your heroes are going to be balanced for that as well. So you can see this guy didn't do that. He went ahead and he has a Town Hall 9 level 23 and then a Town Hall 9 level 30 Archer Queen. Those troops are really, really important in war. And it also goes with balance of your regular troops here. Like you can see for a Town Hall 11, his hogs aren't maxed. His miners aren't maxed. Let's see. His bat spell's not maxed. Those are all troops that get used in war that are 3-star strategies. There's a couple other in there that just off the top of my head I don't know. But then vice versa, when you look at our clan, and this is one of the accounts that could warn Night Fury. It's over in Beg because they have a hero down. You can see that the hero difference here is substantial. Their 1 versus our 1, like where they're 30 queen, or we have a 50. They're 23 king, we have a 45, and then I didn't even look at the warden, but max warden here, and you can see the difference on the miners and the hogs, the witches, bat spells. All that stuff comes into play in being competitive for war. So that's what we look at when we look at war weight, and it's what determines whether or not you're rushed or not. This here is a maxed 11 as far as defense, and near maxed 11 as far as offense. Prefer offense over defense in the war weight system, but each defense is assigned a value. So if you're one of those guys who goes out and you know, as soon as you hit 11, you want to drop a level 2 Eagle Artillery, and you have a level 30 Queen. Typically, you're going to pull a base that is more likely to triple you than your abilities to triple them. That's the way we run Night Fury, and that's what we want for accounts. And that covers every Town Hall level there is. It can get into war over there. The Town Hall 10s are the same way. So if you were to come over here and just look at this 10, you know, maxed heroes are 40-40 at this level. So you can see this guy here has got, you know, heroes that are of level 10 value, but he did go ahead and max his Inferno towers. That's a disadvantage for him in war. Whereas if you come back over and look at our other side here, this is another account that could potentially war in Night Fury. You can see a max queen there, max king. He's actually a little bit behind on the defense, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I'd rather prefer offense over defense, and it's the same way with troops. His troops are going to be better fit to be able to 3-star a Town Hall 10 than vice versa. So when it comes to war weight and why that's important, that algorithm that matches these accounts, when you have balanced town halls, Supercell sometimes will screw you over, but for the most part, if you're a maxed 11, they're going to look to match you with another maxed 11. So, and most of that coming off of defense, if you're a maxed 11 and you have 10-10 heroes, you can pull a max defense 50-50-20 Town Hall 11. You cannot triple that, all right? Like, very rarely can somebody triple that. The probabilities are significantly lower, and it's all up and down the board. So I'll just kind of point out some guys here in the clan, like Beast, for example. Looking at it, perfectly fine to war in Beg for Mercy, but we would need to see that queen come up to a level 30, 35-ish, and the king be about a 30 before we could even get him in Night Fury, because he's going to pull, because he does have defense. His base is done very good defensively. You can see these level 2, level 3 Infernos. The Expos need a little bit of work, but because it's not balanced, you're going to pull harder in war, and it really puts you at a disadvantage when you start getting 3 or 4 guys in war who cannot triple their Town Hall equivalent. Maybe the other clan can't, maybe they can't. So just by keeping everything balanced and fair across the board, upgrading everything as you go, defense and offense, evenly to max, and really knowing all the different Town Hall strategies. I'm not trying to pick on any beasts. It's just one of those things that we're just kind of pointing out. Look here. These are all Town Hall accounts of co-leaders here, where you can see this is actually kind of an engineering base. These bases are useful in war and not at Night Fury. And the reason being, he doesn't have his Expos here. So he has a level 14 queen and this king over here. If he pulls a Town Hall 9, more than likely, and we'll look and see what he pulled here in this war, for example, what he's going to pull, his guy might be able to triple him, but he's going to pull a very upgraded base. And you can see here, this was an extremely Russian account. This guy went ahead and he maxed his level 3 Expos, but none of his other defenses are maxed. And typically when you see this, it's going to be the same things. And you can see here, this guy runs Go Wipe and Ensimul, and he doesn't run Go Ho, he doesn't run Go Vaho, he doesn't even have the baby drags to funnel. He can run not really that great of a Witch Slap either, because his healers aren't upgraded. He's a liability for them. Can't run Zap Quake for drags or Perfect Storm. Those are all 3-star attack strategies that a Town Hall 9 that's balanced can run. This guy can't, but because he went ahead and upgraded his base heavier, we're actually at an advantage and they're at a disadvantage. Like I said, you may get where they can triple, but Charles Xavier here, or the professor, if you will, can go ahead and climb the map, and he can 3-star higher in the map, whereas this guy can't really climb the map much. He's very, very limited on what, and that usually reflects in the attacks over here. You can see here that their 6 just couldn't do anything to our 6 or 8. Those are the things that we keep out of Night Fury. Those are the things that hurt. You can see their 8 struggled to triple a low-level Town Hall 9, but went ahead and hit on Town Hall 8. We don't want you hitting down, we want you hitting up. That's what we want the ability to do. You can even see at the bottom here, I think my little Town Hall 6 account, they hit 4 times, and it was most of it was because those players were rushed, and they didn't know the strategies, and they didn't have the troops to do so. So when we're talking about Night Fury and the reason that the war weight's so important, it really is about protecting the matchup and making it as even and as fair as possible. We're not trying to cheat anybody out. What we're trying to do is say, hey, when we're in war, our Town Hall 12 with level 50, 50, 50, 20, 50, 55, 25, 30, that Town Hall 12 is going to pull another Town Hall 12 that they can triple, or at least fairly across the board. Defense, very important for war. Offense is more important without question. So when you're upgrading your base, if you're one of these bases you want to get in Night Fury, the only way you're going to do it is to get those heroes caught up. And you can do that in Beg, right? We're not going to tell you can't war. We're not going to tell you can't do anything. You've got all the time in the world. Be casual. You can get all the max donations, all that type of stuff that you want. We're not going to hold that against you. But I'm not trying to offend anybody, but if we take a Town Hall 10 who has 20 heroes in night and take them in war, more than likely one of our Town Hall 11s or Town Hall 12s is going to have to dip to cover that base because they're not going to be able to 3-star it, especially if they have max defense. And that really is war weight kind of explained. Now, another thing with war weight that really helps to understand is upgrading path. Whenever you move up to the next Town Hall level, for example, say if you go to Town Hall 11 here, this Eagle artillery is the heaviest weighted defensive structure in the base. It adds the highest number that raises your value in the matching algorithm against another base. So if when you go from a Town Hall 10, if you're a 40-40 Town Hall 10 and you move up and you drop the Eagle right away, you've already put yourself behind. Because more than likely you're going to pull a 50-50-20 or a 50-50-10, something like that, that's going to have better offensive capability than you are. When we talk about defensive structures, Eagle artillery, the Inferno towers, Expos, Wizard towers, mortars, really heavy weighted defenses. We prefer that people kind of upgrade those later as they've gotten caught up. You can start to triple those bases that have those defenses, and that's always kind of the general plan, triple those. If you can triple it, then you can typically build it. It's the same thing here when you come up to Town Hall 12, like it adds an extra Inferno tower, and you can start working on your Town Hall bomb. Point defenses, cannons, archer towers, Teslas, air defenses, those are much lower weighted defenses. Traps as well. Traps are super cheap on weight, so always recommend kind of an generalized upgrade guide. When you go up, do your traps first, max them out to that Town Hall level, and then go ahead and start working on your point defenses. And cannons, archer towers, Teslas preferred first, and then air defenses as well. Those add some weight to your base, but not as much as, say, as when you go to Town Hall 10, you go ahead and drop 2 Inferno towers. These here are automatically going to push your weight extremely higher. There is some of that goes into offense as well, but the offense is, Supercell's done a good job about hiding those numbers. They're out there, but for example, I know freeze spells at Town Hall 12 are a really high-weighted spell in comparison to like the poison spell, or even the bat spell. So if you go ahead and you max those out, it will pull a little bit heavier weight. But offense over defense, absolutely all the time. I know we have some accounts, let's see if I can find one here, that we've got. That have done a pretty good job about, I think he finally dropped his Inferno towers. But these Inferno towers didn't go down until everything else was maxed, and his heroes were pretty close to being maxed with all his offense. That protects the matching system. He's typically going to pull a Town Hall 10 that either has rush defenses. They may have level 1 Inferno towers. He may not have that, but their heroes are going to be far less than his. It just happens because a lot of people don't know that war weight's a thing. There is a lot of competitive clans out there. That's how the competitive clans they win wars and they protect wars from mismatches. It really is. I know if I come back here into Beg, there's an account here, Crazy, for example, who does not have the Eagle artillery but has completely max defenses or nearing max defenses for a Town Hall 11. He's typically going to pull a decent Town Hall 11 or even possibly a Town Hall 10 because he doesn't have the Eagle. It should be a Town Hall 11, but sometimes the algorithm gets a little bit jacked up. Again, that's in our favor, and that's what we want. We never want to put in an account that can't triple an 11, taking max defense in, and then we pull an 11 that's a max defense. That puts us in a disadvantage, and that's how you lose wars. So if you're new in the clan and you haven't had a chance yet, go ahead, talk to one of the COs, see what you need to do if you do want to eventually get into Night Fury. We'll kind of guide you. We'll talk to you and kind of explain, what you need to work on. And whenever we're talking about what you need to work on, heroes is one of the biggest things. So get the heroes max for your Town Hall. If you're behind, get them caught up. You're never going to get in as long as they're behind. And then the next thing, if you've been neglecting troops, I see a lot of accounts that don't have maxed hogs or maxed bows or maxed miners that are higher level accounts. They may have went ahead and maxed the E-Drags. E-Drags is not a consistent army, and if you only have 1 or 2 style armies, again, that's one of those things that's hurting your account. So go ahead, get all those troops maxed to the Town Hall levels, offense over defense every single time. That never changes. If you do that, you can work on the 3-star strategies. We can do a ton of practice. You can get in those wars. They're a lot of fun when we get a lot of good attackers in. It's just something that's all we want to see. And again, Beg is here. If you need to get caught up, please do so in Beg. Be social, be friendly, request troops, have fun. It's a game. We all want to play and have fun. The more active I think everybody is, the more fun it is. Hopefully that helps with war weight. I'll probably do some more videos. We'll talk about funneling. I may cover a little bit more in depth on war weight if I can find some of the gods, but just in general, whenever we're talking about war, it's about pulling even accounts. This was a decently fair matchup down the board, and because of that, we're gonna, even with heroes down, we're gonna have a really good shot of winning this war, because these guys will not be able to triple the way that we can triple, and it's because that balance at the top. So just keep that in mind when you're upgrading. If you have questions, please, 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 please ask a co-leader. All right, every single co-leader we have in both Beck for Mercy or Night Fury, it's the same general group of guys. There's about 4 or 5 guys and girls, about 4 to 5 of us here, that we can kind of walk you through where you're at, where we want you to be. And that goes hand in hand with learning the 3-star strategies as well. If you're, say a Town Hall 9 and you've never ran Go-Ho, or you've never ran Laloon, or, you don't know what Zapquake is, all those things. You have to have those things. You have to be able to do those things before you can come over to Night. Because Night, it requires a lot of variety to 3-star good bases. So I put out a Town Hall 9 video. I put out some gods for different attacks on some of the other videos. We've talked about in Discord that there's videos, educational videos, as far as the different styles of attack. So please, 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 just keep it in mind. Ask us. Feel free to ask us. We're never going to, well, except for Thee, maybe. We're not going to be rude for 95% of the questions you have to ask. But just balance your war weight. Get those heroes up. We've really, 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 there's a lot of good attackers here. There's a lot of guys that have potential. We all love the game. We'd love for you to be able to get balanced, come over Night Fury, because it's a lot of fun when you get, 15, 20 good accounts in war. And you really get to strategize those wins. So talk to us. Let us know if you need